need to start wars for a difference of opinion. Give me the name of your antagonist, I'll stick them in the ribs. Because I'm an assassin, one with a passion. But when I'm with the rapping, dropping the fast, you're probably having a problem to follow the captions. I'm so ahead of my time, I'm probably...
Hey guys, FilmCrazyAdam here. I'm kind of doing this on a whim right now. I'm about to head off to see Assassin's Creed. Now, I was planning to see this movie, but I just wasn't planning to see it tonight. I was going to go see Sing tonight, in fact. And I wasn't really planning to do a review on Sing, though I still might. Though I might not see Sing until, like, Monday, the day after Christmas. So at that point, it'll have been out for a week. And so I don't know if it'll be worth really posting it at that point. Yeah, we'll see where we'll see. Maybe I do it or not. But anyway, I'm about to go see, like I said, I'm about to go see Assassin's Creed. Just decided, and that primarily because the next showtime for Sing isn't until like 10:30 p.m. And while I can stay out as late as I want, I don't feel like getting home. I don't feel like getting out of the movie at 1 a.m. and then getting home at like, at like 1:15. I just don't want to. I just don't feel like it. So I'm gonna go to Assassin's Creed because that's earlier. Anyway, Assassin's Creed, thoughts going into it. Well, historically speaking, movies based off of video games suck. They do very well at that too, by the way. Not to say that I don't enjoy some, in the form of guilty pleasures. There was a hot minute in high school when I thought Resident Evil was actually pretty good. My best friend has a soft spot right here for Super Mario Brothers. In fact, I have on my over here. Where are you? You're alphabetized. Right there it is. Now, to be fair, I haven't watched Prince of Persia since more or less since it came out. Which does it have a date on here? I don't see. Oh, 2010. So it's been 6 years, nearly 7 years since this came out. And I got a kick out of it at the time. I haven't rewatched it since I bought the DVD, so it's been like 6 years, 7 years since I watched that movie. And that's one of those I need to kind of sit down and rewatch and see if it's worth it or if I should just donate it to the library. But historically speaking, video game movie. Oh, I got another. No, never mind. I have another movie that's based off a video game. But like historically speaking, video game movies just don't really do a good job of making that transition into movie form. For whatever reason. Acting, just a bad conception. Any movie made by Uwe Boll, that monster, who, he's done so many video game movies, and they're so bad. I mean, they're the epitome of bad. Blood Rain, House of the Dead, Postal. Well, I mean, who really cares about? No, Alone in the Dark. Just god awful, terrible movies. Just god awful. So going into this, well, I like Michael Fassbender. I think he's fantastic. I've played. I haven't played a lot of the games. I don't own a PlayStation. I only own a Nintendo. So I never got into it. I never had the time to get into it. There's a lot of games. I wish I could say that I am a gamer. I'm a gamer wannabe. Like, I've got Zelda. I've got Metroid, and that's essentially it. Like I have Force Awakens. I have I have a couple other ones, but primarily it's just Metroid and Zelda. Those are my two favorites. And so I'm not a gamer by trade. I'm a gamer wannabe. I wish I had. My parents never got me a game console, so I've never played the Assassin's Creed game, not once. I like the concept though, and every time I saw a commercial, I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta get that," and I never did. So, but I like the concept of Assassin's Creed and the story behind it, which is basically assassins that help shape events. I mean, like that's it. There's a secret society, and you're sent to essentially just kill people so that things go in a separate way. You know, it's like you're going to kill this general so that the army falls, or this prince so that so that he's no longer the apparent heir to the country. It goes to the cousin or the other brother. You know, it's a secret organization that shapes the world through ninjas, essentially. Assassins and ninjas, people who live in the shadows and kill and then are gone. They're just whispers on the wind. So I like that idea. I like a good ninja movie. I like a good suspenseful. I like a good suspenseful movie, and something where the assassin is the good guy. He's the one. He has these skills, and he's picking off the bad guys. Now, do I know that the assassin is going to be picking off the bad guys going into this movie? I have no idea. It might be a really cool movie where Michael Fassbender goes in and he just follows orders, but he does it awesome, and it's just badass how this guy is just picking people off, like a ghost basically. Or it'll be one of those movies where he starts off as the assassin, just following orders, and then he realizes that he's on the wrong team, and so he switches sides at the end. That's basically I see this movie working out. Either it's going to be really awesome. He's just a guy doing, he's giving marching orders. He fills them out, and he's protecting the free world, or he's preserving peace because he's killing the warmongers. I don't know. Or it's going to be, like I said, that kind of cliche where I'm just following orders and I'm doing a good job about it, and then I find out, ooh, I just blew up a bus full of children. I don't feel good about that. And that was and not only that, but I also killed this guy who was the prince who was going to bring peace everywhere, and now it's this general who's going to become this dictator. Oh, I effed up. I don't feel good about that at all. Time to switch sides and kill the guys that I just put into power. We'll see. We're going to see. I'm interested in seeing it. I like what I've seen in the trailers. Like I said, I like Michael Fassbender. It'll be interesting to see how they incorporate the flashback that Michael Fassbender has back into ancient times, kind of where most of the games take place, and then see how that translates into present day. So, feelings going into it, we'll see. I just hope it's a good movie. I like Michael Fassbender. I like the concept of the game. So we'll go on. I'm hoping to see a good transition from video game into movie. I hope it's good. So let me go check this out. See you in a bit. So that was a colossal waste of time. I come back in. My brother's in town for Christmas, and how was the movie? I'm like, the movie. Mistakes have been made. One of them was going to see this movie. This movie was bad. This movie was stupid. This movie was badly written, badly edited, badly executed. I thought the choreography for the fights was the worst I've seen. I mean, they were so bad. The fights were too short, not really that complex. Like, they're supposed to be assassins here. They're assassins. They're like, I'm expecting to see kind of like somewhere in the vein of like Matrix-like moves, people running up walls, doing a backflip, or there was like one point where somebody was running, they kind of, like the wall was here and they kind of ran up along it and then down. I mean, I can do that. I used to do that in high school. But, the acting was alright. The acting was okay. The lighting was, some people will say it was perfect. I will say the lighting was terrible. The effects, while extensive, I will say were terrible. because they did too much. You overdid it. You ramped it way too hard. You cranked it up too loud. Some people will say, "Oh, there's no way. You can never crank it up too loud. Bring that sucker to 11." I saw a movie where they proved you wrong. And partially, I don't know if that was the movie theater itself that was just too loud, but I mean, I thought the audio was especially at the beginning of the movie, like the first half of the movie, I'm like, wow, it's really loud in here. And then for the rest of the movie, similar scenes with similar fights and action, I'm like, not as bad. So either I was going deaf and losing my hearing while in the movie, or at some point the audio mixer, the guy who mixed the audio was like, I'm going to turn that down a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about the first half of the movie. I'll just bring it down to 9 from here on out. Now I have with me, on my phone, I pulled up the wiki that breaks down the movie plot, because there's so much crap that goes on in this movie that I need to refer to it every so often just to kind of refresh my memory. I mean, this movie... Okay. I also did a bit of research. Like I said before, I've never played the Assassin's Creed games. I'd never done that. I knew, I was aware of them, and I was like, that seems like a pretty interesting concept. This guy's fighting the Revolutionary War. This guy's fighting in the Renaissance. This guy's fighting in the Spanish Inquisition. I'm like, that's all kind of cool. So, but I had not played it. I had no real point of reference going into this movie. This is a unique situation for me, because usually I've seen the show, or I've gone out of my way to make myself familiar with source material before I go see the actual movie. In many cases, or I've just grown up watching stuff, and so I'm stoked for the movie because I'm like, oh, I've never seen this movie. It's, oh, they made my favorite show into a movie, or they made something I've actually played into a movie. And so no, I have a point of reference going into a movie. Like that Power Ranger movie that comes out in March. I watched that growing up. God, I was such a huge Power Ranger fan. I watched it when it started, and I want to say it started in America in like 91 or 92. And I thought it was awesome because I was so into dinosaurs. But so this movie coming out 25 years after the first television broadcast of it, I have a point of reference. That's something from my childhood that I watched as a kid. So I'm going into this movie with preconception. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what they do with this. This particular movie, Assassin's Creed, is not one where that happened. I had nothing. I was going in blank slate. Didn't know what I was gonna come across. And I thought this was so terribly executed. So terribly executed for a movie. Like, I would have done this movie so differently. Like, almost from soup to nuts, from beginning to end, I would have changed everything from the ground up. One of the first things in the movie is you see it's basically a brief flashback in 1986 where Michael Fassbender is a kid. He comes home, he sees his mother dead. His father, dressed in assassin clothes, has killed her, and he then tells his son to run so that he doesn't get captured by the Knights Templar. By the way, from the wiki page and from my understanding of the movie that I just saw, the Knights Templar is an organization, or the Templar Order is an organization. Let's see. Well, basically, they have their own agenda, and the Brotherhood of Assassins don't like that agenda. So the Brotherhood of Assassins, the Knights Templar are kind of like the Illuminati. The way I understood it in this movie is they work from behind the scenes. They're that secret organization that really runs the world, and they decide what governments collapse and whatnot. Like, it was very League of Shadows from Batman Begins. Remember when Liam Neeson is explaining to Bruce that we're the League of Shadows. We're the ones that build and tear down governments, and we tried to destroy Gotham City. First we tried war, we tried plague. not necessarily Gotham, but the world. Like we've shaped the world with plagues and war and assassinations, and we tried a new thing for Gotham City. We tried economics, and it didn't quite fail. So now we're just going to shoot you in the face, Bruce. That's kind of what the Templar Order does. Is like, well, we decide what the world goes, and they even use those similar examples. They're like, well, we tried this, we tried that, we tried economics, and now we're going to try this artifact that called the Apple of Eden, which they never give like a solid explanation for what it is or what it does. But one of its abilities, I mean, they're like, we don't know where it came from. Maybe it was from God. Maybe it was from some ancient, super advanced race. Maybe it was aliens. We don't know. But it's here now. And we're going to use it to stop people from being violent. And that's how we're going to remove violence in the world. I think. But at the same time, they don't want to remove violence. Like, Jeremy Irons, whom I love, he's fantastic. Just 99% of the movies he's in are not. Like Beautiful Creatures, Aragon, this. There's something else. BVS. Something else too that I'm like, oh God, Jeremy. I think you're a fantastic actor. You got a great voice. He was Scar in Lion King. But you keep going in just awful movies, man. But so like Jeremy Irons is like the head of the Templars or not, because while he's kind of respected and like a lot of people treat him like he's the head of Templars, there's actually somebody above him. So there's a lot of stuff where I wasn't quite sure what's going on. I'm watching and I'm like, they're saying one thing, but then they're saying another thing about this location or this person. So I don't have or like the Apple of Eden, like, well, it's either it was or it wasn't from aliens or God or whatever. What does it exactly do? And why doesn't everyone use it? Now, like I said, I've done research. I just did a bunch of research on the games. So the Apple of Eden is a thing in the first game, if nothing else. Where it does a bunch, like even in that game, they were like, yeah, we don't know exactly where it came from, but it does a bunch of awesome, really cool things. Like, if you twist it this way, a muffin appears in front of you. If you turn it this way, a continent rises. If you turn it this way, you can mind control people or something. But it does a bunch of things. In this movie, they describe it basically as a mind control device. It has mind control properties, and that's what the girl. What's the girl's name? Sophia, the girl, the doctor you've seen, the girl in the trailer that you've seen, Sophia, who hooks up Michael Fassbender to this giant robot arm that comes down. And what the hell is that thing called? The Animus, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, the Animus, which I know is also from the video games. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So the Apple of Eden, she basically explains it. The movie. All right, let me backtrack. So we have a flashback of the Spanish Inquisition. Then then it flashes forward to young Michael Fassbender in 1986. I've been there, where he comes home and he finds his mother murdered and his dad did it, and his dad tells him to run, and Jeremy Irons shows up with a bunch of guys, I guess, to grab his father and maybe him. Don't really know. This is jumping ahead, but evidently his father and his mother are both assassins. I don't know if that's a typical thing, people in the Brotherhood pairing off like that. I don't know, but in this case, they were both assassins, and they had a kid. And instead of going to be part of the Animus program in 1986, his mother opted to die or be murdered. Like, basically, I don't want to deal with this, kill me. Or maybe I'll kill myself, I'm not sure which. And so, her husband and his father oblige her, and kill her. I don't know what happens to his father. Maybe he kills himself, maybe he gets shot, maybe... I don't know. We don't know. All we know is that his mother copped out and just decided to get killed or died, instead of just facing something. I don't know why we had that flashback. Don't know why. Other than at the very end of the movie, in Michael Fassbender's weird brain hallucination state that the animus kind of brings on in a person, which makes no sense either. She comes back and like says the creed, the actual creed, the Assassin's Creed with him, and that's like the final piece before his memories meld with his ancestor's memory, and now he's an assassin with ninja abilities. Oh wait, no, they're not ninjas. They're terrible! These assassins are the worst assassins! Again, I'm jumping all over the board. Let's see. I gotta talk about how they're a bad assassin. I gotta talk about the animus. I gotta talk about the apple. Let's talk about the apple first. So, in the video games, it's a multi-tool, like an advanced alien multi-tool of some sort. In this movie, it's basically implied that it's just a mind control device. And either everyone who has it in their possession has no idea what it does. That's got to be it. Like, nobody knows what the hell this stupid gold ball does. I mean, it looks kind of like the ball from Treasure Planet, the map ball. And at the end, when Jeremy Irons has it in his hand, like, they're in London, they're at like a Templar building, and he has it, and it just opens up and it starts to glow, and it actually kind of starts to unfold like the map in Treasure Planet. I don't know what this ball does. Like, why did he wait to be in the Templar? Like, I don't get it. He's like, I need this ball because I want to mind control the world, basically. He has his own ideas for what he wants to do with this ball, with the mind control. His daughter, Sophia, it was like, well, we need this ball because it can stop people and redo their thoughts and make them not violent. Like, her whole thing is like, let's live together and not be violent. You know, this ball is the thing that attains it. And also they kind of imply that it's the ball itself, which is why people are violent. Like, the first time somebody got a hold of this stupid thing, like in the time of Cain and Abel, Adam and Eve, you know, when there were only like 29 people living on the planet. Actually, if you follow, I'm not going to go into theology on this one, but basically, it's why people are assholes to each other. It's why there's violence. It's because somebody touched this ball and it changed something in like the human brain. So now people will get pissed at each other. You know, it wasn't part of our makeup originally, but because somebody hit the wrong button and it messed with everybody at the same time. Again, there was only like 5 people on the planet at the time, so it's like, well, if all 5 of us have the same weird genetic quirk to want to hit each other, then it propagates through the species with reproduction. It, guess, makes sense. So her thing is like, well, we wouldn't have violence if it weren't for this ball. If we just find the ball, we can kind of reverse it. And Jeremy Irons is like, well, I want the ball because I want to take over the world, I think. I mean, like, basically he has plans for this ball other than what his daughter does, but they weren't really specific what those plans were. Or like they were too grandiose. They're like, yeah, take over the world. So the entire movie is about finding this stupid ball. That it's really stupid how they, like, the entire point of this movie is they're searching for this one thing. Now, if it was a quest movie, like, there are so many movies where people go on a quest to find, you know, the lost art. Like, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade is the entire movie, I mean, it's broken down and, like, it culminates, but basically the entire movie is a quest movie. You know, Indy's looking for, first, his father, and then he's looking for, you know, first he finds his father, and then he's looking for the Grail. And it's a Grail quest. You know, like Monty Python. But, so at the end of the movie, they're going for this one thing. They're going for the Grail. So there's tons of movies that are quest movies. Now, you know, like Lord of the Rings, it's kind of a reversed quest. Like, they're not on a quest to find something. They're on a quest to get rid of something. But like, it's a journey to get there. That's what you would make, like, that's what would be perfect if you're looking for an artifact, is a quest movie. This movie, you can... That's what this entire movie should have been about. It should have taken place entirely in the Renaissance. 95% of this movie takes place in this stupid facility and nothing happens. You know in the video game when you go... Alright, now we're going to talk about the Animus. In the video game, the Animus is... It's a bed. It's like a dentist chair. You lie down in it. This piece of technology is put across your head, and you're put into a dream state. And within that dream state, you are reliving the memories deep within your genetic structure of your ancestors. Because, you know, that makes sense. The Animus changes during the course of the video game, where, like, at first it's like a flat MRI like bed without the giant circle machine. It's a flat metal bed that you put your head under a hood, kind of. The second version of it is a dentist chair where, like, you sit there and then, like, little visor thing comes over your head. They also, I believe, at some point, the company that creates the technology, that I think it's the Knights Templar, release VR visors. So, no matter what, in all cases of the Animus, it's just, it's not a big deal. It's just like, oh look, it's a bed, it's a couch, it's a chair, it's VR visors. Bottom point is you can just sit there and let the Animus do its thing, and then you go into, you know, you dive into your memories. I mean, in the game, of course, you're playing, you know, you have complete control and you're playing it out. In this movie, the Animus is that, you've seen it in the trailers, that giant freaking arm that comes, robot arm that comes down and, like, grabs him around the waist and, like, hooks up to his neck, and it induces this dream state where he goes back into the memories of his ancestor. And then it lifts him up, and the whole point is that he can basically, physically, live out the memories. Like, it's a big enough space, and the machine moves him around. Like, you know, if he runs and he jumps over a chasm, you know, the machine kind of moves him and, like, does that for him. Makes him think he's jumping. I don't know why they had to do that. Like, so needless. Just put him in a freaking chair, put a metal thing over his head, and then, you know, have the camera go zoom, and, like, just zoom into his eyes, and there, we're living it out in his, we're living it out in his mind. We don't need this giant apparatus to flip him around like a freaking trapeze artist or a Cirque du Soleil artist. And like, it's not just like, it is happening in his head, but not just in his head. Around this giant room are these lights. And so they shine light in his eyes, showing him what he already sees in his mind. Like, the machine reads his mind, converts what it's sensing into data, and turns that data into visual images, and then projects it into his face. Not only into his face, but now everyone else can look around in the room and be like, oh, okay, I see he's eating an apple in that one. You know, he's just like... But, like, they're not even holograms, it's just lights in his face. Or they can just watch it on the screen. So why do you have to be so complex in this stupid movie? Make this apparatus that flips him around, just throw his ass on a bed and, like, let's just zoom in, let's just look in and see what he's doing. Because another thing they did in this movie with this stupid machine is that they keep pulling him out of the machine. Like, we're watching these action scenes that take place in, like, Madrid or Spain or whatever, where they're assassins, and they're running around, and they're doing flips, and they're jumping off of buildings, and they're slicing people's necks, and they're riding horses, and there's smoke bombs. And we do that for like 5-6 minutes at a time, and then we're pulled out of it. Not only that, but while we're watching the flashback, it's constantly intercut with Michael Fassbender in present day, in the machine, with lights flashing in his face. By the way, like, there was so much fog, there is so much bad lighting, there is so much computer, like, you never once is there, like, a clear there's almost half the movie you can't see anything because, like, it's the graphics just either weren't good enough, or there was just too much blotting up the screen. There was so much that took place in this movie in low lighting, in shadows, in smoke, in darkness, with computer graphics flashing in your face and lights flashing in your face. So much of this movie, I couldn't understand. Like, it was just so bad to watch. It was so annoying to watch. It was irritating as hell. I'm like, just stick with the flashback. Stop flipping between, you know, the orangish, tannish, yellowish, you know, the landscape of Spain in the middle of the day with a dark room with bad light holograms. Just stick with one. I mean, come on. But so, like, they keep breaking up the action of the flashback by, like, first it's like, well, I don't want to, Sophia's like, I don't want to push him too hard. I need him to recuperate. And then the next one, like, oh, I don't want him to have a stroke. And then the next one, he does have the stroke. And then the next, like, they keep breaking up the action. It's so herky-jerky. It's so annoying. Like, it's getting good, and we're back in the science lab. And nothing interesting happens in that lab, oh, wait. It's not a lab. Modern day incarnate. Let's see. Surfing albums. Well, here's another thing I don't understand. The facility that 95% of this movie takes place in. Okay, so Michael Fassbender, we don't know anything about Michael Fassbender at all. We know nothing about this guy, other than his mother was murdered, and we're told that he murders somebody else, which is why he's in jail, which is why he gets executed, but not really executed, because he's taken to this giant facility that's the size of, like, giant freaking stadium, maybe bigger, in Europe somewhere. I don't know what they do in this facility. Like, it might be a prison, or it might be a rehab facility, or it might be a resort retreat where people go for yoga. I don't know. They never explain it. They never say what this place is for, other than we have this giant machine here that does things. Meanwhile, see, I have no solid... It kind of looks like a prison, but I'm not sure. I have no clue. They don't define it. I mean, it has to be a prison. Meanwhile, there's other assassins in the prison with him. I don't know if the people who run the facility know that they're assassins. I don't think they do. Maybe they do, and that's why, and, you know, to get more memories from the past is why they're there. You know, the machine helps pull up memories, and they're looking for this Apple of Eden thing. And maybe the assassins are there because they're past, patients or past test subjects, and they just didn't have what they were looking for. I don't know. It's never explained. I don't know. They don't make it clear. I'm so annoyed again. But so they're jumping back and forth between actual interesting story and boring lab crap. And it's just the same thing over and over again. Oh yeah, by the way, he has hallucinations. The machine brings on hallucinations of his ancestor trying to kill him, but it's an hallucination, and then sometimes it's his father. And like I said, at the end, when he completes the mission in the flashback, it's his mother for some reason, and she does the Assassin's Creed with him, even though that never happened in real life. There's just so much stupid shit in this movie. I started to phase out watching this movie. I got really bored, and I didn't even go see a late showing. I went to go see the 7:30. I went to go see the 7:40 showing. I didn't have a long week. I had off yesterday. Yesterday was Friday. I had off yesterday. you know, I didn't even go. I didn't go to bed late. Like I wasn't tired, and yet I was phasing out in this movie because I was bored by it. I was like, action's happening. Oh no, it's not. Action? No, it's not action. So this movie, terribly edited, terribly written, terrible. I mean, this is vying for a spot on the worst of list. I'm happy for this movie that it got in under the wire. It might make it onto the worst of list. Okay, now, so I've kind of broken down the story a little bit, as much as I could coherently, if you can call this coherent. And let me talk about, and so, like, the story itself is terrible, and jumps around too much, and is badly edited and badly written. If they had just started, if the movie just, like, the story within the flashback is the assassins start out with they have to rescue this prince. Because the prince, let's see, Fassbender and his partner Maria are deployed to rescue Prince Ahmed de Granada, who has been kidnapped by the leader of the Templars. To coerce the prince's father to surrender the Apple of Eden. They intercept the chariot with the prince on it, but then they're ambushed and they're captured by the Templars' enforcers. They're back in the they're scheduled for execution, but manage to escape. There's a rooftop chase. And anyway, they get the apple. Michael Fassbender's character gets the Apple of Eden and then hands it off to Christopher Columbus. Doesn't explain what it is. I don't even know if he knows what it does. And he says, "Take this to your grave. Take this with you to your grave." And Chris Columbus is like, "Yeah, okay." So that's how the Templars in present day find the Apple of Eden, because some guy, some assassin, I don't know, maybe Chris Columbus knows who the assassins are. I don't know. Maybe he does. Because if not, then some guy in a hood just walked up to him and said, "Here, take this to your, and when you die, make sure you're buried with it." And Chris goes, "Yeah, okay." And then it happens. He's buried with the Apple of Eden. That's the entire point of the Animus, is that they're like, "Well, where'd you put the damn thing? Your ancestor had it. We don't know where he put it. Tell us where he put it." "Oh, it's in his tomb." "All right, laters." And that's what happens. It's like Jeremy Irons is like, "All right, we know where it is. Kill him, destroy the facility, kill everyone in the facility, we're going." I don't know if they actually destroy the facility. You never see it happening. And at that point, the other assassins that are in the facility spring into action and basically make it so Fassbender and like 4 or 5 others of them can escape as well. It's very... I don't know how many guards are in this place, because during the movie, there's not really shown to be that many guards when Michael Fassbender first wakes up in this facility and kind of... After Michael Fassbender is executed in Texas, he's taken to this facility in Europe. He wakes up, and then he drunkenly, very badly drunkenly, he wakes up and starts running around this facility very drunkenly, very stupidly, very... I was like, "What are you doing?" And eventually sees that he's inside this... He walks into like a indoor garden, but there's like a very long window where he runs up to it, and basically it's a ledge. And he looks down. There's no glass. There's no window. It's just a ledge. An open ledge in this facility for some reason. And it zooms out and you see he's in Europe somewhere. And this facility is ginormous. During his run through the facility, Sophia's like, tells everybody, "Don't touch him. Let him go. I got this." And she just follows him around until one of her father's men does subdue him. It's like, you are useless, Sophie. But he's running around like you don't see that many guards. But in this scene where the assassins spring into action to do a jailbreak, basically, there's like 1 million of them. I think like the bottom 19 stories of this building are just guards in a room. And when the alarm blazed, like they started running up. There's a ton of them. So I don't know where they all came from. There are countries whose armies aren't as big as that guy, as the number of guards in this building. So Michael Fassbender and his crew escape, go to London where Jeremy Irons like, hey look, he calls a Templar meeting. All the Templars meet up, and he goes out on stage. There's lights, like it's like he's announcing the new Apple iPod, or the new Apple iPhone. I don't know. Do they still make iPod? I don't know. But it's like he's making an announcement for some new technology. And he goes out and he's like, I got it right here, man. We, our mission is complete. We got what we were looking for 400 years ago. And it starts to open up in his hand. And then Michael Fassbender just comes in and kills him. Now you're like, well, of course, Adam, he's an assassin. Let's go back to the third thing I counted off on my fingers before. Is the fight scenes were terrible. The fight scenes were terrible. They were awful. And they were very badly filmed. There was a lot of cutting over here, cutting over here. There's a lot of really quick edits, so you can't really follow the action. But the action I could follow, it's like, you weren't even close to that one. And that guy goes, the fight scenes were badly choreographed. Terribly choreographed. Not just, swings that were nowhere close, but, they were just not interesting. They weren't good. They were brawls. If you're an assassin, come on, you're an assassin. You're supposed to be in quick. You're supposed to be very fluid. But, these were brawls. And not only that, but these assassins were terrible. I'm not talking about the acting. I'm not talking about the choreography. If you are a brotherhood of assassins, and on average, 6 guys go into a mission and only 2 come out alive, or only 1 come out alive, you are a terrible brotherhood of assassins if 80% of your guys die on every mission. It was awful. There was such a mortality rate for these assassins. They sucked as assassins. Or maybe they're good at sneaking up and killing people, but once people know they're there, they're fucked. They are so screwed. They are just they can only win in an unfair fight. They have no other combat skills, evidently. That happens with the modern day assassins. That happens with the past assassins. And this is another stupid thing in the story and the script, is the assassins. At the very beginning of the movie, when they find the prince, the Templars of the Spanish Inquisition find the prince, and one guy is standing up in front of everybody, making an announcement to this whole village of people, and so you've got 60, 70 villagers, and they're all dressed the same, and then within the crowd, you have 6 people that are dressed like this. 6 people who are completely differently dressed. They have hoods up, with their eyes down, with the hood like this, walking through the crowd. And not only that, but each of them has some kind of large weapon on their back. Whether it's a mace, whether it's a giant ninja star. It looked like Yuffie's ninja star from Final Fantasy VIII. Or no, maybe I'm thinking about Final Fantasy X. But somebody has a giant, they all have very large weapons on their back, and they all have hoods up and covered, and they're kind of making their way through this crowd. And nobody notices this. In broad daylight, in the middle of the Spanish countryside, which isn't known for its vast forest, around a village. There's no forest, it's not dark, it's not foggy. Middle of the day, people walking around in hoods, 6 people making their way through a crowd in hoods, including getting up behind the guy that's talking, and nobody notices this. The guy talking, by the way, it's Michael Fassbender. He stands up on a roof, clear as day for the whole world to see, and he just jumps down. And he stabs the guy with, and that's another thing. He's got one weapon. He's got these blades that pop out. They really overuse that, you wouldn't believe. He has the one weapon, and that's it. and he's super proficient with it. Well, he's proficient-ish with it. So, and that happens again at the end of the movie. Now, you can argue in the Templar scene, everyone's got hoods on, but they don't. Like, everyone's got robes on, but not everyone has hoods on. And again, no one in this giant crowd of people, no one notices the people who are clearly assassins walking around with hoods in this crowd of people and stabbing people. It was it was so stupid. You're like, how does nobody see that? So in conclusion, this movie was terrible from beginning to end. Just awful. I thought I saw the movie, maybe I was looking at the wrong movie, but I thought I saw, like, I was looking on, when I was looking at the movie, the movie on Fandango, I thought it said, like, Assassin's Creed had, like, a 71%. I checked it again after coming back from the movie, and now it's at, like, 31%. I'm like, how did that happen? I've only been gone for, like, 2.5 hours, and it's dropped by more than half in that time. Holy crap! Oh, good God. So, don't go see this movie. This movie was terrible. This movie was awful. Wow. Ugh. Man, this movie just sucked. I can't believe I can't remember the last movie where I got sucker punched like that, where I'm like, it seems like it could be a good movie, and I'm interested in the source material. I'm gonna go check out this movie, see how it goes, and then came out with like, oh my God, that was so, ugh. Why do I go see these things? Anyway, so that's it for this review. It was a terrible movie. Don't go see it. The end of the year is coming up. There's probably there's a few things I'm trying to get done before the end of the year. With any luck, you'll see it before the end of the year, and I'll get back into the swing of things. I know I've said that a lot, and a lot has happened over specifically the last 4 months, which in about a week or two, I'm going to do my end of the year, like, year in review slash update video, and hopefully between now and then I'll have more stuff out, and I will go more into depth on what happened this year and why it turned out the way it did. So anyway, don't go see Assassin's Creed. It was god-awful. Hollywood has maintained its unbroken record of making terrible video game movies. Meanwhile, I think I am going to rewatch Prince of Persia because I need something. I need some kind of cleanser, some kind of purge cleanser after what I just saw. So anyway, that's that, people. To everyone, I hope you have a Merry Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I still wish you have a happy holidays. If you don't celebrate any holidays, have a good day nonetheless. Don't make too much out of that. Have a good one. Later.